Welcome to the 38th reading of my memoir, The Innocence of Guilt. More family history. The path my mother took after she lost her own mother at the tender age of 12 set her up for a strikingly different life than the one my father experienced in his rural setting. Her privileged position as the doted-on only daughter of wealthy parents fell apart. Her father's demanding job made it impossible to stay home and raise her, so he arranged for her to live with her much older cousin, Billy, and his wife, Hilda, in their tall, narrow house with 3 floors and lots of stairs at 235 Grinstead Road. She also had to leave her private school, Greyfriars, at the top of East Hill, to attend East Ward School in Grinstead Road. The move away from home upset her. Used as a house cleaner by Hilda, she remembered having to get down on her hands and knees to scrub the stairs after coming home from school. Her father abandoned her, leaving her at the mercy of 2 relatives who seemed to find her more of a burden than anything. When her father remarried, he invited her to live with him and his new wife in Ipswich. Susan Marriott had 6 children of her own, and Mum absolutely refused to be a 7th child. Later on, she said she regretted not going back to her father and his new family. "I shouldn't have been so stubborn," she told me. "I could have had a proper family with brothers and sisters. They probably would have been nice to me. And I wouldn't have then fallen out with my dad." At age 15, while scrubbing yet another flight of stairs, she overheard Billy and Hilda complaining about her. She determined they didn't love her, so made the decision to leave school and find a job, although it meant not getting her school-leaving certificate. Lying about her age, she claimed to have turned 16, she secured a job as a live-in nanny to 2 little boys. The years she spent with them were some of the happiest times of her life. She entered into her heyday, her adventurous years, put the sad times behind her, went out on her own and pleased herself. The story I never tired of hearing happened during a holiday she took to Tangier in Morocco on the North African coast in 1930 at 18 years of age. She sailed on White Star's cruise ship, Homeric, and had her photograph taken with 2 other people on deck. I loved that photo of her, with her hair blowing in the wind. She looked so happy. During her time on land, a stabbing took place. A man came out of an Arab tent with a blood-stained knife in his hand after killing the occupant. As she described the horror and fear of the event, the telling of it drew me right into the scene. Hot sand beneath my feet, strange, spicy smells, colourful cloth tents against a backdrop of blue sky. The bravery of my mother in such a faraway place. She didn't stop at sea travel. She conquered the air as well. In 1932, at a time when flying was still a novelty in England, she joined the Blue Barns Flying Club at a small aerodrome situated near the village of Ardley between Colchester and Dedham, taking rides in the small open cockpit planes. And of course, the ballroom dancing featured heavily in her reminiscences. She described the fabrics and colours of the beautiful ball gowns in much detail. "Do you think I'll ever have a beautiful ball gown?" I asked, and she made me an impossible promise. "One day, when you're older, I'll buy you one," she said. At around 20 years of age, she left her nanny position and enrolled in nursing at Ipswich General Hospital. She went on to become an operating room nurse. Sometime in the early part of 1939, she decided to emigrate to Canada. Her uncle Alonzo on her father's side owned a cattle ranch in Medicine Hat, Alberta. On September 3rd, an announcement made over the wireless changed everything. And although essentially a phony war for the first 7 months, it prevented her from leaving England's shores. People in reserved occupations, such as doctors, nurses, engineers, teachers, bankers, or any number of skilled jobs that could serve the war effort, were forced to stay. The war owned you, Mum said, and you weren't free to come and go anywhere you wanted. She experienced a deep disappointment at having her plans thwarted, but accepted her fate. Her part in the war sounded exciting, going out in army ambulances, picking up the wounded, dodging bombs along the way. I imagine she flung herself into this war work after she lost her fiancé, because by the latter part of 1940 she had left Ipswich General and began working at St. Mary's in Colchester, where 2 years later I would be born. So that was it, my family's history, a gigantic holding tank of painful emotions. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to subscribe, like, or comment on this reading, and hopefully you will tune in to the next one. Bye for now.